The Tenno were powerful but unstable, and the organ needed a fail-safe to ensure the Warframes were supported without question. What? Right. The Tenno were powerful but unstable. Oh yes, because the organ were fighting the Sentients at the time. Isn't that right? That's where I'm getting it wrong. So the organs didn't like the Sentients, and they created the Warframes from the Dax. And the Tenno, they found the Void to use transference. That's where then the coding sometimes gets blocked, doesn't it? Or gets interference. The organ transference, which a lot of people were trying to look into. I forgot about that. By programming Ordis with unconditional love and loyalty for the operator, Valis ensured the Tenno had a dedicated assistant who would never betray them, a stark contrast to Orden Karis' betrayal of the organ. Ultimately, Valis used Orden Karis as both a test of the Cephalon technology and a deeply personal, twisted act of revenge, creating the loyal companion players known as Ordis. Now that was the other thing I was meant to say. I like Valis. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I like him. He was trying to move the organ forward, the Tenno forward. His ideology was about moving forward, but he was trying to get everybody on the same page. That was what the Narmer was. Doesn't sound like a good plan though. Rather than working with the Tenno, we worked against them. But there is an alternative Valis, and he lives in Deviri. And he was Kullervo's warden. But again, is he a real character? Now, let's take into consideration if he's a real character, right? 2 characters have came out of Deviri. One is Kullervo. Kullervo was one of the characters that came out of Deviri. The other one's the Drifter that made everything up. Thrax lives in Deviri, but the Void lives in there too, and he created, what do you call her? He corrupted the girl in Warframe 1999. I can't remember her name. But he created her and put her in Deviri. And then we got Anorexia, which was the other one that came out. Orexia. Where is she? So that's actually 3 people that's came out of Deviri. 3 things that's came out of Deviri.
All set. Service your weapons.
Always a pleasure.
Just checking the helmets, see what helmets are. I think they do put a couple of helmets up. Just gonna have to wait for the reset tomorrow. Resets in 9 hours.
Let's check what's next.
I think that's enough of what I've been talking about here. Yes, Valis was trying to get everybody on the same page. He wasn't a great guy. He was very manipulative, very strategic, very good at what he did. But then again, he got outdone by the Sentients, by Era, which I found very interesting because we didn't go to Tau, and that's what the whole circle comes back around to. We were supposed to go to Tau, but we didn't. We ended up going back into the void and going into staying in the dream. We haven't left the dream. Here we are. That leaves us here. And I don't know if the dream's a metaphor for the game or for the fact that Lotus is Rebecca. Maybe Desage can look into that and find out if it's because Rebecca's still the creative director or whatever. I think is she a community director and she or something. Basically, one of the top people in about Warframe, and still running Warframe. So the only way we'll get out of the dream is if we get rid of Lotus, I would think. But then, if we leave, does all our powers leave? Do we? Is none of this real? Was it all in the game, the dream? Do we just go around as a normal character then? What happened? Like, what was all this? It was just a story? Is that when Warframe ends? Is that what the plan is? Is the plan that in 10 years' time, that's what the ending is? And then they're just gonna go to Soulframe? Like, from here? Don't get me wrong, like, the game's great. I still want the game to keep going, just the same as anybody else.
Tenno, the balance of power continues to shift. Navigation is marked with new invasions.
That's why I put all the colours, like the Matrix colours as well, that are to do with the Matrix. Because the Matrix is a system that keeps you trapped in your own mind. The only way of getting out of it is by not being involved. By creating your own system. In the system, it'd be like a subsystem. Let me say it this way, right? Just the end. There's a thing in coding or program called a daemon. A daemon is spelled D-A-E-M-O-N. Not as in like a demon as in an evil entity. It's a code. It's a subcode. Right? It runs in the background of your system, of your computer or your device. So say you open up a game and in the background it runs all the protocols that it needs, all the files that it needs. That's running in the background. You don't know that's running. So right now all this is running in the background. Okay? That's a daemon. Okay, so if I go to one of the other things, it's running in the background, that's running in the background, that's running in the background. Everything's running in the background. All the stuff that you don't know about, right? You don't really pay attention to. In real life, a daemon will be your thoughts. It runs in the background. You just don't know it's there. Which then pertains to ideas, creativity, art, thoughts in general. The question is the daemon running in the background in your own mind that keeps you involved in the system, in the Matrix, or in the dream that they're trying to point out? And that for some weird way, Warframe or the games or anything you run or do is keeping you attached to that system. It's sort of like, to me, I was always a sci-fi fan of Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell was an interesting one. The point being is that the ghost was in the robotic system, in the robotic shells, bodies. So your consciousness would run in the background. That's what Ghost in the Shell is. Sort of like Warframe with the consciousness. The transference runs in the background. So when I go to the operator, is the operator running, doing this himself, or is it me that's running the operator, again, going deeper and backwards? Our whole reality is backwards. None of this is, again, none of this is real.
Tenno, a new alert has begun. It will be marked on navigation.
It's all to do with a system. A system is something that's designed to keep you in a loop, to keep you in that. That's why I changed the colours of the skin to blue. Because they're working. As well as it relates to Matrix with the blue and the green, black. I don't know how else to describe that. With your own thoughts. So there was an interesting one. It's like Shakespeare. That's what it all comes back to. Everything always comes back to Shakespeare. The philosophy. The philosopher in the West. He says, I am, for therefore I am. Because you think, though therefore you are. Thoughts exist. So you exist because of thoughts. Because you're thinking about it. It's a two-way system, right? It's two-way management of two-way street, not a one-way street, where your thoughts come in and it comes into physical reality, and the physical reality then reinforces your thoughts. And he says I have that their way, right? Looking at the skull, and that points out then that you're conscious of yourself internally, and your thoughts are your reality, what you create or what you want it to be, and they're running in the background. It's making them synergize your thoughts, and that's what Jesus used to say about too, and that goes a bit deeper. So the question is, did you want the answer to after going into the whole thing? From Ordis and the Lotus and Tau and Ballast and stuff and all and everything that's happening. The things that happen to you, I always look at it and go, well, what about other people? Because other people have thoughts too. It would be a multi-reality then. Multi-convergence of different things. Like somebody who would think that doing promiscuous things would think that's normal and not understand it. That's their reality. But to come into somebody who's like myself, who would be like, I understand the promiscuous things and I'm very open. People would think that's not right, or jealousy or whatever it is that comes into their mind. I would go, yeah, it is. It's wrong to a certain degree. But in their mind, they see it as in, that's how they see things. That it's normal. That this reality we live in, this physical world, has all sorts of realities in it. Maybe is that the term of, in my kingdom there's many rooms or something, is it? Many realms or something?